Yo, what's up? Whoever joined, is the stream laggy? What up, Empress? Is the stream laggy? What up? What up? What's up, Vicky? How's everyone doing? It doesn't appear to be lovely. Lovely, lovely. What up, Fig? Has been a long time, huh? Feels good to be here with you. Was there no call on Tuesday? I hopped on late. No. So we're only doing 2 calls now a week. We're doing a call on Wednesday, and then we're doing a call on Sundays. Fundamentally, what it's going to do is allow people to actually practice the information, because I don't want, as you know, in the school community, a lot of people have been getting crazy changes, but I don't want people relying on me. And when we had 4 calls a week, it felt like there was a lot of relying on me for answers. And that's, not the purpose of this, is to rely on me. The purpose of this is to purify the mind, be in flow, and then, find your own answers. So this was kind of, this decision was to help people rely on themselves and practice the information that's in the school, like the mental diet and flow course and such. Yo, what up, Adro? Good to see you, brother. Glad you're getting out, Fig. Likewise, Manu was in the ICU getting discharged today. Well, I'm glad you're getting discharged, Fig. How's the wife? Doing very good. Doing very good. Thank you for asking. My energy is clear again. I'm manifesting at hyperspeed. Yes. It's funny how once you internally clean out all the mess and the trying to manifest, because what happens is, like, we create a personality where we're someone who is manifesting. It's like we wake up and we manifest, and we wake up and we affirmations and etc. But, like, that's not being the person that has the thing, right? That's like being a person that has a character that they created or imagined in their mind, that they're trying to play this role of somebody who's creating something or manifesting something. When you stop doing that and fundamentally you just be in the moment, everything just kind of manifests for you. It's not forced, and that's peaceful. Yeah. Well, fundamentally, when you break down what's happening, like, whatever, I'm trying to manifest something, or I'm trying to create something, a lot of the time, what fundamentally I was implying is that right now everything wasn't the way that I wanted it to be. And that's what was manifesting, right? Not the future, not the trying to be. It was like in the moment that now was unacceptable to me. And I think that's really, like, this comes with just doing this for a while, is what you're actually wanting is to be you. Like, you're wanting to be content with life now. You're wanting to be in love with life now. You're wanting to feel fulfilled now. That's what you're actually wanting. And You'll notice it's like clockwork. I've been seeing this for years. I go on Reddit posts and things like this, and before people manifest something, there's always the same footprints, the same success every single time. The person goes from trying to manifest, trying to do sats, trying to do affirmations, obsessing, doing this, and then I will tell you the moment that they start uh, um, where success is imminent, they go from trying to do that to all of a sudden they start talking about how they were enjoying life. They start talking about how life was enjoyable. They started loving themselves. They started enjoying what they were doing. Notice what created it wasn't the affirmations. The affirmations were creating stress and fear and worry and overthinking and not enjoying life. When did the movement start happening? They started enjoying life. They started enjoying what they were currently doing. They started taking care of themselves, which meant that they felt better in the moment, meant that life was good now. And then they all come to the same conclusion. I am good if I get my person or not. And then once you get there, that's when your manifestation happens. I was watching some of your videos last night. It's crazy how simple it is. Just go within and claim what we want now. Yeah. Yep. Hard for me to do sats or visualization. Do I need it? No, if we just certainly I don't visualize a lot. No, you don't need to. That's the whole point behind this. And actually a funny thing I've been really reflecting on, now I've gotten some success and have my loving relationship with my wife. Here's the funny thing that I didn't realize at when I was manifesting my wife back in the day. My nervous system didn't feel safe with love, right? Because when you're successful or you're making money, what happens is you're seen. You have things to lose. And so to the system perspective, if I were to be successful or I were to be seen, now there's fears, now there's chaos, now there's problems, etc. It's associated with it. So it would rather just stay in not being successful, not being loved in the what we're comfortable being, right? This cool thing by Mike Fox, I loved it because he actually brought up this realization to me today. He goes, why abundance feels unsafe to the traumatized psyche. Abundance is not neutral to trauma. Abundance means visibility, expansion, dependence on life continuing, something to lose. To a traumatized nervous system, abundance says, if this exists, it can be taken. So the psyche often unconsciously chooses predictability, deprivation over unpredictable fullness, known suffering over unknown joy, familiar loneliness over risky connection. I literally couldn't have summed it up better. I mean, that describes it, is that because I would say for years consciously, oh yeah, abundance. Yeah, I'm loved. Yeah. But what I would notice is the moment that I started being loved, I would start feeling really fucking uncomfortable. Whenever I started making money, I would start feeling really uncomfortable. And it's like, oh, it makes sense. Makes sense. Because the reality is if I think that I'm going to be a bad person if I create something, I'm not going to do it. Or if I feel like I'm going to be unsafe creating something, I'm not going to do it. Either are you. Just not the way that we are as human beings is creating something that'll put us at risk or danger us or create fear or pain. So the funny thing is, and here's all I've done, and I've seen the most change, drastic change for the better, is being present. So I talk about the school, and everybody in the school is seeing drastic changes, and we don't talk about affirming or sats or any of this shit because the thing is you can affirm consciously that you're loved and all this stuff, but if on a deep level you feel afraid of it or you feel unsafe, it doesn't matter what you consciously say to yourself. So that's what needs to be changed is that has to be changed. I struggle with take your attention off what you don't want. How do we do that? For me, I can only do it trying to focus on my desire or something else. Is that correct? Yeah, that's fine. Butterfly, that's yeah. As long as you're not indulging in unideal thoughts. It's really all that matters. It doesn't really make a difference how you do it. I had to leave the state. Oh wait, I still had anger toward a previous SP. I decided I wanted a peaceful talk. Then I wanted him to be physically far away. He called after almost a year, and the company he worked for. Oh, he went. Yeah, went out of state. Nice, nice, nice. Also, did you date anyone when getting your wife back? And did you have to deal with lawyers or anything serious will manifest that made your 3D challenging? How responded to that? Yeah, I had a lot of circumstances that made my 3D challenging. I think that's all kind of relevant though, right? To each individual, their circumstance is crazy because they're going through it. It's always when I look at your circumstances, you're like, oh, you had that. That's not as bad as mine, and it's just really up to each individual person. To each individual person, their circumstances are challenging, hence why they're experiencing what they're experiencing. I did not date anybody, no, because to me it seemed very contradictory that I was taking action that implied that I wasn't in a loving relationship and then saying I was in a loving relationship. If you find that that doesn't happen for you, then go ahead and do that. Um, but yeah, fundamentally, your life does not have meaning. I'll give an example of this. I share this all the time, and I'm not going to go crazy in depth, but fundamentally, your life does not have meaning. What I mean by that is when I did sales, uh, when I first started doing sales, I had a lot of fear of rejection, overthinking. I should be this way. I shouldn't be this way. I have to manipulate and control and things like this. And I didn't get very many sales. Also, whenever someone had an objection or a problem that they had with wanting to buy the product, I would see this as they don't want to buy from me, which then my body would react this way. I would feel stressed or upset or like, well, why am I not good at this? And that would be the thought patterns that would happen in my body because of the meaning that I gave the outside experience. Okay. Now, later, when I was good at sales and I was more in flow, which meant that uh, my mind was more purified, I didn't get caught up with these things. Like when someone had an objection, I didn't go, oh shit, they don't want to do the sale, and then go through that whole process of making myself feel like I'm not good at it. I'm never going to do good. I won't be able, etc. I stopped that whole entire process because I didn't identify with that suggestion. Instead, I stayed in the moment with the individual and I found it then to be a opportunity for me to then build a relationship with them, to then make the sale. So you see, I didn't identify with their objections as meaning they don't want to do the sale, which then resulted as them wanting to do the sale. And that conversation was a bridge of incidences to that which is in mutual benefit for both of us. Why a different reaction? Why a different perspective? Why different actions? Why different things said? Why different emotional response? Because the meaning that I gave it, even though it was the same piece of information, I identified with something different, which means that that situation does not have a definite meaning, which means that life doesn't have a meaning. You paint it with the meaning you give it. And then you experience that. You behave in accordance with that. You think in accordance with that. You emotionally relate in accordance with that. So you see, life is not set. It does not have a meaning. You give life meaning. So your person behaving the way your person is can be a beneficial thing, depending upon the meaning that you give it, right? Could be bridge of incidences for what you want, or it could be this is they're doing this and it's not what I want, which is um, based upon on your beliefs. Well, how do I know that? Well, there is no other cause besides your imagining. So you're interpreting the situation as they're doing something opposing you, which means that there's two people, that basis is inaccurate because there's only consciousness experiencing itself. And it's saying that, oh, this is denying that I am the way I desire to be, which your default state of being is fulfillment. You can only in mind tell yourself that you aren't fulfilled. This is a really cool thing. I talk about this in school all the time. You're so powerful that you can imagine that you actually have things that oppose you. You have things that are against you. You can actually imagine that you aren't fulfilled or loved. It's actually incredible to think about. Like when you actually know who you are and the fact that it is just consciousness experiencing itself, but yet you have the ability to imagine there's some boogeyman or something separate from you or some monster that can beat you or defeat you. And then we get caught up in these mind games of separation and drama and problems and think it's real until you wake up, and then you realize, oh, everything I'm seeing is stuff I entertain consciously, and people are playing roles that I entertain consciously. The unconscious wouldn't manifest. The clear subconscious is key. I found it easier to focus on releasing that SP as opposed to releasing all the emotions towards him. I awaken, enjoy him. That's awesome. Congratulations. They were never in charge of reality. Yeah, well, the thing is in sales, they were never suggesting anything. Only I can suggest what other people are suggesting, right? Perception creates reality. Indeed. What did you feel just before your SP manifested back? Um, it's like a relaxation. How I feel now. Contentment, relaxation, fulfillment, right? That's what the wish would be like. Right? Perfect example. Like look at it like this. I know that, coming from law of assumption and everything, we're really big on affirming and doing this and doing that. But I want to give an example of like what it is that I'm referencing. Look at Eckhart Tolle. Eckhart Tolle, ego completely crashed. Okay, so he stopped having mind activity. He stopped having the I'm this, I'm that, judging based upon appearances, reactivity. That stopped happening. Why? Because his ego died. That reactivity is from your concept, which is your ego. It died. So he didn't have this. So what happened? He experienced bliss and love and fulfillment, which is your default state of being beyond the ego. Then what happened? For about a year, he spent his time in a park, feeding ducks, chilling. Then all of a sudden, he gets a hunch to make The Power of Now, writes this book. He ends up on Oprah. He's a multimillionaire. He's married. How the fuck did that happen if you need to affirm to create something? He didn't have an ego. So he wasn't concerned about getting things. He didn't feel like he lacked anything. When you abide in fulfillment, when you're in flow, you don't desire anything. You can't because you're being fulfillment. That's what awareness of being is. It's fulfillment. This is what a desire is. A desire is when you forget that you're the awareness of being and you go back to being the person that's separate from reality. And then all of a sudden you have a desire to acknowledge that you are the way you desire to be. Because when you're present in the moment, you can't desire. You're desireless. So then if you're desiring, this means that you identified with the personality again. And the personality is reminding you that your existence is fulfillment. That's all it is. That's why Neville says, when a desire comes to me, I set a ready obedience to it, and then I acknowledge that I have it. Well, that's it. Because you do have it. Your awareness of being is all. Your awareness of being is fulfillment. Your awareness of being is love. Your awareness of being is perfection, and it's now. So then what are you in when you manifest your person? That. Because here's the thing, this fulfillment that you are now isn't going to change when you get a thing. Like that's the funny thing. The mind says, no, 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 I'll get fulfillment once I have my person, or no, 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 I'll get that. No, you won't. If you know who you are, you abide as fulfillment, and then you experience the fulfillment you are with the individual, not because of. See, that's what the brain says. The brain says, or the personality says, when I get them, then I'll be fulfilled. When I get them, then I'll be loved. Then I'll be really happy. No, all that's happening is that in mind, there's a condition that says, when I get this thing, then I will allow myself to be as I am fully. But it's hidden as it's them. It's not them. Well, how do I know? Well, if for those of you that have meditated and you don't experience anything, you can experience profound levels of love and bliss and happiness and joy for no reason, which means that that must be you. Why? Because you're not doing anything. You're not trying. You're not affirming. You're not visualizing. You're not pretending. You're not trying to be. You are simply existing. And that is what you're experiencing is that love and that bliss, which must mean that is who you are because it is naturally happening when you're abiding as awareness. Okay, so then this suffering and this lack and this need must not be you. How do we know? Well, because you have to do thinking, you have to do something in order to experience that. mid roller coaster and an up one lump. Shock, upward of force, and tactical excitement. You make it simple, and I love that. Well, I'm glad that makes sense for you, Mary. It really is simple. It's the mind wants to overcomplicate it, but it really is simple. Really is simple. It's like another point. What about the people that give up on manifesting their person? The person comes back. If you have to affirm and you have to obsess, how the fuck does that happen? Someone please explain that to me. If you do it, how does a person come back when you stop doing anything and you go on with your life? I mean, the proof is in the pudding. The thing is like, it really is like your default is manifesting what you love. And in the community, I've been a big advocate. The only other person I've seen really say not to affirm continuously is like Joseph Rodriguez. Everyone else is affirm, and I think they genuinely believe it's helpful. But I found that it's not. It's not helpful. People go, well, then how do you change your thinking? Your thinking changes automatically when you stop identifying with shitty thinking. Like that's the reality. You don't. You have thinking that you have to change your thinking is implying that there's something fundamentally wrong with you. There's not. What's the incorrect thing is that you're imagining that untrue beliefs are true about you. And this is what you're trying to fix. You're like, oh, my person doesn't love me, which is implying the whole basis is incorrect. You're thinking that there's something separate from you. You're thinking that this personality is only loved if an outside thing validates. The whole entire basis is faulty. And then I'm trying to affirm or change this faulty belief that doesn't even exist. It's not even real. And I'm trying to affirm to change this belief when all I need to do is remember that this does not represent me and my thinking will purify automatically. Why would I fight or try to change something that is not true? It doesn't make any sense. And this is what causes so much problems for people. That's what caused problems for me for a really long time. No, I'm loved. No, I'm cared about, and I'm this and that, and it's like it's like saying that a tree is a tree. Yeah, of course. So why am I fighting? Like, where's the fighting coming from? It's from this untrue belief about a false self. And so if I release that, I stop identifying with that. Well, guess what happens? My thinking will automatically adjust. I don't have to do anything for this. Yeah. In the beginning stages of gaming, it can be helpful. Like if you're new to manifesting, affirmations can be extremely helpful, or even intermediate can be helpful. It's reminding you of the truth, yes. But then eventually it's not needed anymore because you realize even the thoughts are not who you are. The thoughts are coming from a personality, right? Because who you are is beyond the mind. Like as Neville says, the most profound thing he says in every one of his statements, let's go into the silence. Why does he say this? Because silence is where you find you. The truth of who you are is found in silence. Doesn't make sense to the mind because the mind thinks it derives itself from its thinking and its patterns and its belief systems, but it's not. You are beyond that. You are the awareness of being, right? And then you're aware of being a man or a woman, then you're aware of being here or there, then you're aware of being loved or not, then you're aware of being wealthy or not. You have all these concepts. But the truth is, you are abundance. Well, how do I know this? Well, all abundance comes from awareness, and you are awareness. So you may have a belief, the personality may have a belief that it's wealthy or not based upon its appearances, its mind-made self. But again, the truth is that you are abundance. Well, how do I know? Awareness is where everything comes from. Why? Because God is all, right? So I'm feeling that opposes the affirmation, really. We separated a month ago, but he keeps texting me. I don't feel like replying to him, although I love him and I still want to manifest the highest version of us. I just don't want the half version of it anymore. Yeah, well then, Giselle, don't imagine that that's what you're getting, right? Like as I was talking about, is that in your consciousness, here's what's happening. So you have an idea about him that him texting this way means that it's this version of him. This is what you're holding in your consciousness. How do I know? Well, look at your behavior. Look at the way that you're thinking. Look at how you're emotionally relating. This is what you have in your consciousness that he's currently doing. So then how does he have to behave? In harmony with that. Why? Because there is no him, right? He exists within your consciousness. He is what you're assuming that he is. So then how do you release this? Again, not affirming, because what are you doing with your affirming? You are affirming, pay attention to this. He is distant. So what are you doing now? He's not distant. What did that just do? That just reaffirmed that he is distant, hence why you're trying so hard to tell yourself that he's not distant. You see? This is the type of shit I'm talking about right here. Like when you understand this, you'll see the truth in this. If I don't want to imagine somebody's distant, what do? I stop fucking entertaining that they're distant. That's it. I stop imagining or identifying when my brain tells me they're distant. Then what happens? I stop seeing them that way. Then what happens? I start automatically having ideal thoughts about them. Why? Because this is just your default state of being. Your default state of being is harmony. Your default state of being is love. Your default state of being is, I'll give a perfect example of this. My condo, I used to hate my condo. I had this thing. There was a bunch of conditions in mind. Had to be a really rich area, had to be a newer area, had to be certain people that dressed a certain way in order for it to be a place that to me was lovely. So I moved in here with my wife. My wife was like, I really love our condo. I just couldn't understand her perspective. I'm like, I don't love this condo at all. It's old, it's ugly, these different things. Well, now when I look at my condo, I absolutely love it. I look outside and I'm like, this place is so beautiful. The thing is, well, what happened, Joseph? This place has always been the same. How is it that I now see beauty where before I didn't see beauty? Because I released the programming. I released conditioning. I released I needed life to be different than what it is. I released that I could only experience that I love where I'm at if these conditions were met. There's rich people, this happened, house looks like, etc. And so what I found is beauty where I'm at. Now, here's the funny thing you hear all the time. Once you're appreciative or grateful for what you have, you get more of it, which is true. But the fundamental reason why behind that is because you're remembering that you are fulfilled as you are now. Telling you guys. And you can do what you want to do, obviously, right? I mean, you can try doing the affirmations and stuff. I tried it. I think it's part of the process is that you go through it where where you fight and you live in your mind all day and you affirm, but then eventually there comes a place where you're just tired of suffering and you're tired of getting mixed results and you're tired of controlling everything and you're tired of living life in your mind and never experiencing what it is that you want to experience. Eventually you come to a place where you're just tired. And then the funny thing is that you'll find you just be fulfilled the way that you are now. You really like, and it's not, you don't even try to do this. It's not like I try to be fulfilled or I try to be happy. I realize that it's simply my default state of being whenever I stop living in my mind. Appreciating where I'm at is just the default of just being as I am. It's just fulfillment is a default of being you. Love is a default of being you. Wholeness is a default of being you. And I don't mean the mind made self, the reactive one, the one that judges based upon appearances. I mean the you that's before this conditioning, the you that's before these thought patterns and these belief systems and these unconscious patterns. What I mean by unconscious patterns, well, you can reflect on your life and see if this is accurate for you. You wake up in the morning, you think the same thoughts, you do the same things, you have the same emotions, you try to manifest the same things, think about the same things, behave the same way, do the same things. Is that not a program? Is that not what a computer does or a car company does the same mechanics every single day, does the same actions, does the same thing every day? Is that not what a program is or a computer? And so then we have to, Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about it, breaking the habit of being yourself, right? Your personality creates your personal reality. And so the easiest way I found to do it is, all I talk about in school. And like I've said, I know that this works because I have seen such crazy success in my school community in a very, very quick time. Like a very, very quick time. And people have done, I mean, we've had a member in there that I'm not going to share names, obviously, for anonymity purposes, but there was a person that had stage 4 cancer that is cancer free. That's a success story in the school community. How? Talked about being in flow. People manifesting their SPs happens all the time in the school community. Why? Talk about being in flow. Why? Because you are attracting what you're being. How do I know what I'm being? Well, I can pay attention to the energy and motion in my body. That is a side effect of who I'm being. How do I know this? Well, why would I be feeling fear or sadness, uncomfortability, unless I am assuming that I am not fulfilled or I lack something? And my body is responding to that. Because you notice that when you're present and when you're being fulfilled, the emotions that you're feeling, the regulation that you're feeling is contentment, is peace, is bliss. Yep, Nina, that is why meditation can be very helpful. You practice detach from your thoughts. Yeah. What you're saying is so important. I used to deal with obsessive thoughts since SP journey. Now I choose to observe so I don't create stories around most things. And this has gotten a lot easier. Yeah. Orion Gaming. What's up? I've seen you before, Orion Gaming. I don't remember where exactly. Maybe from a comment or yesterday I was thinking about one of your videos and today you came into my feed. It was like think for a few seconds and it came. That's cool. My prayer speak called me after a year to tell me he believes I am the person he was created for. That's romantic. Keeps telling me he does not want to lose me, but wants to be friends because parents don't agree us getting married. Yeah, Giselle, I'm assuming that I'm not going to go deep into this, but this is a common thing I talk about in school. There's several people that are Indian or other religions similar to this, where there is a cultural belief system. You know, we have, yeah, I'm not going to go into the deeps of it, but there's cultural belief systems, and a lot of people I've done coaching with, what they had to release identification to is their cultural belief systems that they have to be a certain religion, or if they're not the certain religion, the parents aren't going to be okay with it. It's an unconscious thing that they have to release in order to allow the relation. I've seen several people be able to release it, and then the relationship flows. You just have to release the cultural belief system. Does anybody else have anything they want to say? If not, I will skedaddle off this bad boy. But thank you everybody for the conversation. It was lovely. A lot of good things talked about as always. Yeah, Divine Empress. It is, a desire is like it's a prediction of your future. It's a guarantee to you. I think the thing is, like, I realize looking back, it's either I can do it through stress and trying and forcing and control, or I can do it through um, being in fulfillment now and flowing to it. It's a choice that I get. And I think the more and more, like, even for business has been interesting. There's several tasks, like, I want to do things, or I want to, like, I enjoy doing content or I enjoy doing lives, but then there'll be different programming that'll come up, right? And then I'll find that, oh, I want to make a video or I want to do this or I want to work towards my goal. And then all of a sudden I'll go on TikTok and, or all of a sudden I won't take action. And it's like, well, why would this be happening? Right. And this is, something a lot of entrepreneurs talk about in business, but there's some form of unconscious resistance. And that unconscious resistance is like, well, I'm going to enjoy going on TikTok more than I'm going to enjoy doing this task, which means that there's a condition. Well, how's there a condition? Because being joy is not determined by a thing. It is my default state of being. It's your default state of being. Eckhart Tolle talks about this in The Power of Now. He says if there is an ease and joy in what it is that you're doing currently, it's because you're lost in some future self. Your mind is projecting that some future moment will be better than it is now, which is untrue because everything is always now, and no circumstance gives you joy or bliss because your existence is joy or bliss. And so, what in fact is causing your suffering is the mind projecting into a future self that's more fulfilled than you are now, which is an illusion because whenever even if you experience your fulfillment in a future now, it will always be now because now is the only time that actually exists. Everything else is a projection or a memory or an imagination. Doesn't actually fundamentally exist because it's either you're putting yourself into a future now or you're putting yourself into a past now. The only time that exists is the now, which is why when you're imagining, it's supposed to be now. A desire is a knowledge that your finger is a part of your hand. Yeah, it's just a desire is that's how you are. Manifestation, not manipulation. On God, on God. And Jen, let me give you a call back. I'm on I'm on my YouTube live right now. All right, bye. All right, guys. Well, I love y'all. Thank you for hanging out, and hope you guys have a good Friday. Today's Friday. Have a good Friday and a good weekend. Love you guys.